Welcome in, everybody, to race number 5 of the MMS Little Dogs Big Dog Series. Here, back to the bread and butter of money racing, back at Talladega Superspeedway in the trucks, a very popular vehicle for us to be driving in the money racing series recently. We're going to go ahead and take you through tonight's grid as they're about to roll off in a few seconds here. We do have Kyler Wynn on the pole, one of the most dominant drivers in the series. No surprise to see him on the pole, one of the best qualifiers there is anyway. Followed by Daniel Falkingham to his outside, starting second tonight. Then we have Kenny Reel in third. Haven't seen him in a while. Sean Corbett in fourth. Chris Melt for R&R in fifth. Ethan Eckert for Nightmare Esports in sixth. Freddie Baznez also for Nightmare Esports in seventh. Devin Ray for the Jack Shack in eighth. Steve Sizemore ninth. And Nathan Harper rounds out row number 5 and the top 10 to begin this race. Brian Hennings will be starting from the 11th position tonight. Evan Carbon to his outside in 12th for the Jack Shack. Scott McLean in 13th. Hunter Hastings for R&R 14th. Michael Barksdale 15th. James Wagner at 16th. James Waring 17th. Joshua McCullough 18th. Ron Hunter in 19th. And Jeremy Osborne in 20th. Mark Von Dell will start 21st. Art Greco, a new name to the series, in 22nd. Michael Wingo 23rd. Logan York 24th. Christopher McCullough 25th. Josh Giambrone, once again, is tonight's race control. He is not starting from the 26th position. Joey Galati will be 27th. Christopher Carter 28th. Rick Schneider in 29th. And Kenny McCullough Jr. will be starting shotgun on the field tonight in the 30th position. Going to be a fun race here tonight. We've got about 75 laps lined up for you. I say about because we tend to head into overtimes in these kinds of races. 65% fuel in the tank, so we've upped that a little bit. The fuel loads are going to be higher, obviously. They're going to be able to go more laps on a run. We have unlimited tire sets, 1 fast repair available to the drivers if they need them, fixed setups, and 3 attempts at an overtime. We are joined in the booth by Josh Giambrone as well. I should make mention of that. Currently, he is deafened. He is dealing with some race control issues as we speak, but we will be getting to him during this race tonight at some point. So, kind of a little bit more drivers, I think, that we've had the past couple of races here in the Little Dog Big Dog Series, about 29 of them. That's good for the car count in the series. Obviously, more cars usually means more action. So we're looking forward to seeing these 75 laps here at Talladega Superspeedway. The pace car is going to roll off out of turn 4 right now. There it goes. For Kyler Wynn and Daniel Falkingham, I will make a mention, actually, kind of just looking at the weather and kind of the time of day. The pace lights are on the pace car right now. And as you all know, Talladega does not have lights, so I really hope this is occurring in the morning time in the sim and not the night time. But I guess we're going to soon find out. The green flag is going to come out right here. There it is. Kyler Wynn with a good jump on the bottom over Daniel Falkingham. Coming to complete lap number 1 here, Kenny Reel with a good push to the back of Kyler Wynn, who will lead the first lap of tonight's race. Sean Corbett trying to get back connected with Daniel Falkingham, pushing about 3 deep with Ethan Eckert in the 12 behind him as well. Then separation back to the Jack Shack driver of Devin Ray in the 2. The bottom line is a lot more lined up and organized right now. You have Wynn, Reel, Melton, Baznez and Sizemore, apologize, 2 number 8s, can kind of get confusing. We've already got an attempt to the 3rd lane. Devin Ray with a peek to the outside. Nobody home to help him out, though. Falkingham clears down to the bottom, leaving Sean Corbett to be the leader of the outside line with Ethan Eckert behind him. Devin Ray, he looks like he's probably just going to go to the back here. We do tend to see that out of Devin in these races. If he starts up front, he's a very good qualifier, but he usually likes to drop back. And it looks like he's going to get picked up by Josh McCullough in the number 4 machine. And we've got a little bit of single file racing at the back of this thing. Starting with, it looks like Michael Barksdale in a 00 machine right here. James Waring behind him. Jeremy Osborne as well for Blind Squirrel. Mark Von Dell hanging out, riding around early in this race. Michael Wingo as well, getting passed by Chris McCullough and Joey Galati on the bottom. and further back, just single file all the way back to Kenny McCullough and Rick Schneider, who got a little bit of a gap on the back of the field here. Look, they should be able to stick with them just fine. Sure enough, they will. But at the front, it's still all Kyler Wynn and Daniel Falkingham. Again, no surprise here. Two of the most dominant guys we've seen in the series this entire season so far. But we do have a lot of races to go. It's been a great start for them, and obviously we expect them to continue succeeding. But you never know. Like we said, it's a long season. We're only about a third of the way through after this race, so hopefully they'll be able to keep their momentum rolling in the Little Dog, Big Dog series. Kenny Reel now leader of the bottom as Kyler Wynn goes topside on the nose of Daniel Falkingham, leaving Chris Melton to be lead pusher down there on the bottom. And that's a really good push by Chris Melton, I should say, to the back of Kenny Reel. And now they're getting a little bit squirrely. It looked like the bottom lane was going to roll a little bit, maybe depending on the weather. The bottom it is very weather dependent, whether which line will go and have more momentum than the other one. Right now, it's kind of hard to tell because you have two guys that really know how to control these lanes at the front of this piece. Logan York in the back, trying to make a little bit of a move in the 21 machine. Nobody went with him, but now Ethan Eckert's going to go topside with Nathan Harper and Evan Carlbon, and just about everybody else, it seems like, in the back. Freddie Baznez took that opportunity to move up to the middle lane behind Sean Corbett. And now there's going to be two cars clear, but they're going to probably try and pin the third lane up, and you see them doing just that. Kyler Wynn, Daniel Falkingham are clear to the bottom. They were both clear to the bottom. Wynn still was, but now he's not going to be. They want to keep that third lane at bay as long as they can because they know the bottom has been neutralized, so they might as well try and stick the third lane up there. But right now, it's just too much to overcome. Ethan Eckert to the lead in turn number 3 with a push from Nathan Harper. Now that leaves Evan Carlbon to be the lead pusher, and Logan York took a peek at 4 wide right there, thought better of it. No, he didn't. He's not thinking better of it. He is going to the 4th lane early in this piece. Lap number 5. And we're already trying to go 4 wide. We've seen this quite often in the trucks as of recent. The 4 wide racing and the tendency to kind of parking lot without the entire field. Not a lot of space to go, so where are you going to go? If the whole field is 3 wide and everyone's temps are cooked, you might as well go to the 4th. And now we're seeing it out of Josh McCullough and Devin Ray. We got 4 wide racing here at Talladega very early on in this thing, as now Kyler Wynn's getting shuffled kind of further back. Now ends up being the lead pusher for Daniel Falkingham as Ethan Eckert controls the bottom lane. I do see Josh Giambrone is back from his race controlling duties. We'll go ahead and introduce him and see what his thoughts are early in this event.
Yeah, you know, it's looking good. There's a lot of people trying to go 4 wide early, so it's going to hopefully give us some good racing in the end. Hopefully we keep it clean and get some pit stops going. We got some people that looks falling off the back. They might lose the draft here, but hopefully they'll push together and catch up. And it looks like we're back to 2 wide, 3 wide in the back. They're gonna catch here and hopefully get back to some real racing, back to 3, maybe 4 wide.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting just how quickly the 4 wide just dissolved right there. We saw it for a couple of laps, and all of a sudden we went back to 2, and now Freddie Baznez is trying to lead the charge up on the 3rd lane, but he's got a lot of work to do. He has fallen back a lot. He took an opportunity when everyone split out 3 wide. He moved up from the bottom. Oh, we have an issue on the bottom. Michael Barksdale in the 0-0 going to the apron. It looked like he might have got turned down there. I'm not really sure if an engine has blown on the 0-0 or what. He's driving back onto the racetrack. And looks like he will continue. So, kind of a strange look for Michael Barksdale right there. Not really sure what just went wrong for him. He's going to get picked up by Chris Carter in that Scott Bloomquist tribute truck. Back up front, 3 wide racing once again. Logan York to the top side with a push from Freddie Baznez. That's a good combination. Also Nathan Harper and Scott McLean in tow. And they are rolling on that top side. Look at them go all the way up to Kyler Wynn. Falkingham moves up front of Eckert to try and keep that 3rd lane at bay even further. But the problem for these guys is that is 3 of them connected, and that's pretty good. But it would definitely help if Scott McLean was closer up to Nathan Harper's bumper. But right now he's just not. There's about a 3 truck length gap back to Scott McLean, who is falling rapidly off the pace of that 3rd line, and that kind of just nixes that 3rd line out. No, Kenny Reel gets hooked at the front of the field, and there goes Christopher Melton down into the inside wall. The yellow flag flies. We're still crashing. Kenny Reel, Hunter Hastings, Kyler Wynn, Scott McLean, Freddie Baznez, James Wagner. So this wreck just went from 1 car getting spun to just about the entire front of the field. As the yellow flag flies on lap number 9 of this race. And from first glance, I think we could tell Kenny Real might have moved up a little bit too high for Daniel Falkingham's liking. He tried to go for a split. Maybe Real didn't want to give up that spot. And that seems to be what caused this first crash on the evening. So let's take a look. Focus this up on the 3 Vanderbilt University Chevrolet Silverado of Kenny Real. Take it up top and just see. So as we see, Kenny Real tries to control the lanes, just as everyone does at the front of these things. He's well clear of Falkingham. He's going to move up the racetrack entirely too high. Falkingham notices that and thinks he can peek through the middle. Not quite there, and then he kind of just hooks Kenny Real a little bit. It's really tight quarters racing. And then there's Chris Melton down here at the bottom of the racetrack, who is the innocent victim in all this. He's going to slam into the inside wall right there in the 52, come back up the racetrack. He will not, actually. He will slide through the tri-oval grass with significant damage to his machine. Looks like he's going to have to tow away his truck and take a fast repair quite early in this. We'll back it up again and see how this crash continued. Kenny Real, after the incident between him and Falkingham, down into Melton, sends Melton down. Real loses his bumper and just seems to lose control right here. And then up into Logan York, Freddie Bazin has nowhere to go. Then he's going to come back down the track. He's trying to save it. Kyler Wynn hooks himself off the nose of Josh McCullough, trying to avoid. Evan Carlbon gets into Scott McLean in the back. Wynn 2 wheels off the ground. Hasting involved, another innocent victim in this. Going to slide up into the racetrack. Kenny McCullough and Michael Wingo as well in the back of this thing, and Joey Galati. There are a lot of vehicles involved in this crash. Let's take one more look, maybe from a different angle, of what just happened with Kenny Real. There he is. He loses that bumper. It seems like that might have been the factor in causing him to slide up the track as violently as he did. This was a massive crash. Ron Hunter getting a piece of it as well. This just looked like a one-car incident, and all of a sudden, just about the entire field gets involved. So let's back up further and see what happened to Kenny McCullough, who was just riding single file in the back right here. Obviously, they're going to see the crash begin in front of them, and they all get ready to pull out a line, and then Michael Wingo just drives into him and turns Kenny McCullough. I'm not sure what that was all about, but not a good look by any means right there. If you're single file in the back of this pack, not really sure why, if you do see the crash happening in front of you, that would happen. We'll go on board with Michael Wingo here and see him try to drive through it. Okay, I do see what Michael was thinking here. We're going to back this up again, so I'm trying to explain. So here he is. He's behind the 3 of Rick Schneider in front of him, and that's all he really sees throughout this. He sees Kenny move up right there, but now he doesn't. He doesn't know where Kenny McCullough is. You can assume where he is, but he's going to move up the track, try and go around Rick Schneider at quite a pace, and then Kenny McCullough is just right in his lap. Now, granted, it probably would have been better to see the brakes applied sooner for the 01 of Wingo, but I do see maybe what he was thinking. His damage is not significant. That is good news for him and the 03 of Kenny McCullough, that they do not have too significant damage. There's a look at the 13 of James Waring for Blind Squirrel Racing, the man out of Poughkeepsie, New York. Having a solid run so far, a clean run so far in this one. That's good news for him as well. But at the front is Daniel Falkingham and Ethan Eckert. An early charge from Ethan Eckert ends up getting him at the front of this thing and avoiding potential disaster in this early crash. And I see Josh Giambrone has returned. So what is your call on, honestly, a lot that just happened in this crash?
Well, started off there, Kenny Real just moved up too far there, and I went into Falkenham's cockpit there, and he cracked the throttle at least a good 3 times to try not to turn him there, and he just drove over his nose. And then we had another incident in the back that was a ARCA braking incident, and that's really about it. I mean, he kind of just drove over his nose there, and Arca braking in the back.
Yeah, it did seem pretty plain and simple, kind of self-explanatory of what we kind of saw in the back of that field. It's disappointing to see that. And I know that I've harped on ARCA braking a lot in the past. We've had some issues with that in this series, even this season. And it's just a difficult thing to see because at the end of the day, there's not really an excuse for it, unless there's extenuating circumstances, of course. And who knows, Michael Wingo might have had some right there, but it is disappointing to see. But the good news is it wasn't egregious by any means. They were able to get their damage repaired, and they are back out on the racetrack. That is great news to have that happen. The pace car is off. For lap number 12, we will be approaching for Falkingham, Eckert, Hennings, Corbett, Sizemore, Ray, Carlbon, Bazinez, Vondel, and Greco, the top 10. As the green flag flies once again at Talladega, a little bit of a shaky start on that outside line with Sean Corbett and Ethan Eckert. Not a good connection at all. They're kind of recovering somewhat well, though. Falkingham with an early nose into turn number 1. But it's a little bit of an 8-truck breakaway right here. 4 top, 4 bottom. Not sure what happened in the back right here with Vondel and Greco. But they are now approaching back to the back of the 8-car breakaway that we just had. And now we see, once again, some single-file racing in the back. Just 2x2 so far. No one's wanting to go up to the 3rd just yet, or even the 4th, should it happen. Evan Carbon up, Devin Ray down. Interesting move by the two of those drivers right there. He's going to link up with Freddie Bazinez and leave Ethan Eckert and Sean Corbett stranded topside. And kind of a strange look right now. Not a lot of connection whatsoever on that outside line, but here comes the help with Carlbon, Bazinez, and Greco on the top side. Sean Corbett doing a great job just trying to help Ethan Eckert, but now he gets split by Evan Carlbon and Freddie Bazinez. Art Greco taking a look as well in turn number 2, but they just don't really have that much of a run. That's going to allow Devin Ray back up the racetrack, Falkingham up to control that middle lane as well at the front of the field. Now we're back to the 3x3 racing, Josh.
Yeah, that's what you love to see. I mean, that's what this track's all about, is 3x3. And, you know, there goes Daniel clearing down. It looks like somebody just had a little bit of tunnel vision there and went down with him. We got one wrecking in the back there by himself. He is going to kind of save it. They got one Kyler, or somebody's blanking in the middle there. I think that's Kyler. And now we're going to split up a little bit, because now you only got 3 people on that outside line, on the very outside line. And they're going to come back together here and get back to 3-wide racing.
Yeah, that was Ron Hunter in the number 9 machine that was spinning out back. Only one car at the end of the day. That does not constitute a yellow flag here in MMS Money Racing. So it's a tough break for him, but the rest of the field will continue racing under green flag conditions. Brian Hennings with a nose over Daniel Falkingham. We just saw him get pushed to the apron not even a lap ago. And now Steve Sizemore doing a terrific job pushing him to the lead, but just not good enough as Falkingham's going to be able to clear back up in front of Brian Hennings. I will point out, shout out to Steve Sizemore for his 3rd place finish last week in the MMS Little Dogs Big Dog Series. It was a great finish, a great podium finish for Sizemore. And here he is, dicing it up at the front of the field again. Great to see Steve Sizemore with such terrific runs recently. Now leading that 3rd line with a push from Evan Carlbon. And now the field is truly basically back to 3x3x3, albeit for Falkingham and Eckert at the front. They are well cleared. How about Mark Vondel? Where did he come from? 3rd on the bottom lane. 3rd is in track position as well. Eckert to the top. Vondel going to be lead pusher to Daniel Falkingham. I should point out, Mark Vondel and Daniel Falkingham are teammates in this series. So a great run for that combination so far early on in this one. The 3rd line starting to die out a little bit. Steve Sizemore's been doing a good job leading that line, but it looks like the help's just disintegrating, and Evan Carlbon might be cooked on his temperatures. But now Kyler Wynn is thinking about hopping up to the 3rd. He's not going to do it. Carlbon ditches, and that will mean the end of the current 3rd line we have up there of Sizemore, Bazinez. Now Bazinez drops down behind McLean in front of Wagner, and everyone else is just going to file back into 2x2 for a little bit of a reset. And, oh, we're crashing! Chris McCullough, Rick Schneider, and a couple others. Big crash. Yellow flag flies. Freddie Bazinez and nose into the wall again. Scott McLean further up. Michael Barksdale. Everybody at the back of this thing. Greco, Wagner, Waring, Josh McCullough, it looks like, as well. And a great break for this man right here, Ron Hunter. He needed that yellow flag to come out to catch back up to the field, and he, sure enough, gets it. So, let's take a look at what happened here. I will say we were lagging a little bit behind. We were taking a look at the back of the pack, and all of a sudden, there was contact at the front. That is the last caution flag, so we will go back once more. There's Chris McCullough in the 04. We see him getting turned out of line kind of early on right here. This is a strange sort of look. So let's see. The field's 2x2. There's a massive checkup, and Evan Carbon tries to miss by going up, and he clips Chris McCullough. That's what's going to be the cause of this crash right here. Chris trying desperately to save it, and he's still wheeling it, and he might actually save this, maybe not. He's going to get up into Scott McLean. There's Freddie Bazinez dipping way down the racetrack. Logan York into James Wagner, and that's going to get Bazinez up into the outside wall. That might be the end of the night for Freddie Bazinez. I would assume he took a fast repair considering his damage in the first crash. Now a nose-first head-on hit to the outside wall is not going to be good news for that number 8 Machine of Nightmare eSports. There's James Waring applying the brakes as hard as he can to that 13 machine, doing a terrific job avoiding this. Might just touch James Wagner right there, but great job by James Waring to avoid any more significant damage here. Let's take it back again. It is, once again, pretty cut and dry call in my opinion right here. Carl Bond just kind of missing the checkup right there and is going to turn Chris McCullough down the racetrack, and then it's just chaos. Steve Sizemore, we just shouted him out, the great run he's been having as of recent in this series, and he's going to get a piece of that as well. Damage doesn't look too bad. There's a Galati, Melton working their way around as well. Get a couple more looks real quick. See what we can see from these angles right here. Not much, as it turns out, but there it is. Bam! McLean with the hit up into, believe it was Chris McCullough. And then the junkyard down in the apron of turn number 2. So, I know what I think my call is here, Josh. It's pretty plain and simple.
Yeah.
What's yours going to be?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be on Evan there. It looks like he almost wanted to go 3 wide there and just didn't judge the checkup enough to be able to jump out and just kind of clipped him, which it sucks, but that's just how things go, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it is, and we go on board with Evan right there, and it's a tough spot when you move up the racetrack like that, entering a corner. You are turning right while the rest of the cars are going left, and that's going to alter your perception a little bit. But at the end of the day, he just ended up clipping him and causing a pretty significant accident in turn number 1 of this race. We're struggling to get a rhythm here. We keep having pretty good racing at the front of this thing and basically everywhere around, but can't get a rhythm, and that's also tough to see. You know, we want to get a rhythm going, have some good racing, some good clean racing. Here's a look at Art Greco in the 88 getting kind of punted into the crash, but yeah, not a lot of damage whatsoever for the 88 of Greco, so it's good news for him. A little bit of a spin, but he will continue on in the race. And we'll take this back live. I want to take a look at Freddie Bazinez and see how repairs are going for him, and look at the nose of that machine. That thing's pretty killed for Bazinez. The good news for Bazinez, he is already a winner in this series, so his team is already locked in to the championship event. His teammate in this is indeed James Waring, so they're already locked in. That's good for them, but not a good night overall so far, especially only not even 20 laps in for Bazinez. We'll take a couple more looks. Here's Logan York, 21 machine, getting some repairs. Steve Sizemore as well with a caved-in nose on his truck. He'll probably need another caution here to get that fixed up. That thing's pretty dented up. Not good for him. Here's Jeremy Osborne in pit road as well. Very clean truck for Osborne. That's great news for him. Just it looks like being conservative with his pit calls, just going to the back of this thing and continuing on in his own way. Here's Chris McCullough with a brand new race truck, it appears. Devin Ray in the pits. Joey Galati. Very clean as well. So good that, honestly, there hasn't been a lot of crashes so far. Or let me rephrase that. There hasn't been a lot of damaged race trucks, and obviously we have a fast repair. That's probably a lot of the reason, but a lot of these hits haven't been too significant outside of Chris Melton's, who was able to take his fast repair and is now back on the lead lap of the race in the 20th position. So lots of things working out for these guys, but they probably won't work out towards the end of it because you're using up your fast repairs very early in this race. Like I said, we're not even a third of the way through. We have a 75 lap event here, and we're only on lap 19. So I think what we're going to see now, considering we've had two crashes, two pretty large crashes already, a lot of guys using up those fast repairs, they're going to probably be more conservative now. They know they don't have a fast repair left, so they don't want to risk getting crashed, going up to the front, getting crashed on their way there, or while they're at the front, or even at the back. But if they're already at the back, the safest space to be is at the back of the field. Just ride single file, log some laps down, and don't burn up the risk of getting involved in another crash and ending your night. Baznez, we're going to take a look at him. I think Freddie Baznez is actually out. So Freddie Baznez, his damage was bad enough to where he has left the session and he is out. He was a definite threat going into this race, and ever since his win at the iRacing Superspeedway, it's just been tough luck for that number 8 of Baznez. So bad news for him, but the rest of the field is good news for Falkingham and Eckert, who now find themselves once again the leaders of this event with the same pushers behind them as well, of Hennings and Corbett. And then James Waring, Mark Von Dell have worked their way up to 5th and 6th position as the green flag flies once again for lap number 20. And another kind of squirrely start for the 45 of Corbett, but he will connect back to Ethan Eckert just in time, probably, to catch that right rear of Daniel Falkingham. Maybe not. Not a good connection at all on that outside line. Falkingham and Hennings are well clear. James Waring might even get a look out, getting clear out of 2 with a push from Kenny Reel. Mark Von Dell bailed out on that second lane. Wanted to be 5th on the bottom right there in front of Art Greco. Sean Corbett, now he's reeling him back in with that push to Eckert. Good news for Ethan Eckert coming back to the lead of this thing with a great push from Sean Corbett. No help behind them, but now it's coming back to them in the form of Kenny Reel and Hunter Hastings, who we saw involved in the first caution of this race, is now going to be 4th on that outside line. Now, all of a sudden, the top side is all more organized than the bottom side is. We saw in the shot as well. Here's Evan Carlbon serving his penalty for causing the crash. He's going to need a yellow flag to come out pretty soon before the field comes by to lap him in this race. Eckert with the nose over Corbett now was able to clear down in front of Falkingham. Now clears back up in front of Corbett, controlling these lanes early on. And now, like I kind of alluded to, there's a few of these guys that don't have their fast repairs anymore. It looks a little bit more conservative out here. It's a lot 2x2. It's not as packed up as it was. And they're just trying to log some laps here. At least that's what I say, and the tendency of what I usually say ends up being wrong, so we'll probably see 5 wide racing here in a second. But it's all Eckert and Corbett controlling the lanes at the front of this, Josh.
Yeah, you know, it's looking, like you said, it's looking very calm at the moment. I mean, we were, on lap 5, we were 4 wide for a couple laps, you know. But looks like a lot of people got in these wrecks, and they're just holding out, like Logan York. He's just riding in the back, it looks like. He's just chilling. But, you know, and then you got these guys up front that are sitting there running the same race they have been because they still have their fast repairs. I mean, they didn't get it touched in anything. And here comes that third line now with Kyler Wynn as the lead pusher. We'll see if that can get up there. And maybe Kyler might take it 4. You never know. I don't think he has his fast repair anymore, so he's got to be careful as well.
Yeah, he bails out on that third line almost immediately when we start talking about him. It was Chris Carter in front of him, but now he's going to have the push of Josh McCullough and James Wagner. But I really don't know if that's going to work out for them back here. They're going to need more help as you see Josh McCullough bails. Chris Carter trying to bail out. Not going to be enough room for him to do it there, and that third line has now completely dismantled itself once again. That helps out Logan York in the 21. Now lined up with Kyler Wynn. That's a pretty lethal combination if those two get linked up. And there it goes. Wynn to the top. York thinking about going with him. It looks like he will. Taking a sweet time to get up there to the back bumper of Kyler Wynn, but he will do it, sure enough. And now he's going to think about ditching. Now he's thinking about going back. All over the place with Logan York right now. It seems like he lets Kyler Wynn back into line. Josh McCullough topside now with no help behind him except Devin Ray. Here comes Devin Ray with a very iffy push to the back of Josh McCullough. Maybe a late decision for the two of Ray, but he has Carter and Wagner behind him once again. The two guys that were trying to make that third lane go earlier. Now Devin Ray backs out of it. Now we have third lane again at the front with Wingo and Wynn. Wynn backed out of it. Now Logan York in the 21 stuck behind Michael Wingo, giving him a good push here. These two might go places, but at the end of the day, it's only two of them. Michael Wingo riding up the track really, really high there, but here comes Michael Barksdale in a 00 to offer some aid to the third lane, but I still don't think that's going to be enough, really. Wingo needs to be tight on that door of Kenny Reel, and he's holding a pretty steady line. It's just he's not really down far enough to where he needs to be side drafting that lane to try and advance his own to the front. And now he's riding really high in the trial. Logan York, I think his patience will soon run out because he's going to try and find a way back in the line. Oh, he's trying, looking to split Wingo in the 01. Now he's going to hop down behind Hunter Hastings and in front of Kyler Wynn. That leaves Wingo and Barksdale up top. Not connected whatsoever, so their run is going to die out pretty quickly. Very odd. Very, very odd look at what we're kind of looking at right now. Is guys keep hopping up to the third. They might make one position up, and then they dip back out of it. And then someone else does it, and then they dip out of it. And then someone else does, where a few of them go up. Look like 5 trucks were up there, and then all of a sudden we go up, and then we go back down. A lot of guys kind of not racing scared. That isn't the terminology, but just being a controlled aggression, I guess. They're being safe and as cautious as they can be while making these moves. They obviously want to make up their track position, but they want to do it safely, considering the lack of fast repairs that are going on in this field right now, except for the guys at the front. As Josh alluded to earlier, they haven't been involved in a crash. Eckert, Falkingham, Corbett, Hennings, they're all good. James Waring was involved in one earlier, but his damage seems to be all fixed. Now we have a third lane starting again at the back, and the trend we've been seeing, it'll probably just die right back out. Maybe not, because it's Josh McCullough and Kenny McCullough, the father and son combination, leading that line up top. And if you see Kenny McCullough trying to come up to the front, he's going to find a way there. Hastings topside in front of Josh McCullough. Bails out on Kenny Reel. He was fourth in line on that outside, now the leader of the third. They come by to lap Evan Carlbaum. We're going to get a little bit of 4-wide racing here. It's not going to last too long. Carlbaum needs to find his way back into the draft quickly if he wants to avoid going a second lap down. Hunter Hastings, what a push to the lead. He's going to go all the way down to the bottom. Josh McCullough clear, Kenny McCullough clear, Kyler Wynn now just kind of hung out to dry right there. That third lane with a monstrous push to get 3 of their trucks cleared. That is something you very rarely see in these trucks. You might get 2, and you're lucky if you do, but to get 3, that is a great job by all those guys that were leading that line. So now it's a new field of players up front. Josh McCullough leading the race with Hunter Hastings for R&R on the bottom. Pushes from Ethan Eckert and Kenny McCullough on the top. Kyler Wynn and James Wagner leading the outside line with Melton and York up there in tow. Reel now hops up as well. Hastings controlling these lanes up in front of Josh McCullough. Coming to take lap number 28. Logan York trying to take him 4 wide again, and it hasn't gone well so far, and we probably are just fast-tracking ourselves to another crash if we go 4 wide again. York top with the help from Devin Ray. Run isn't there just yet. Logan York wants to go. You see him in that 21. He wants to go, and he wants to go now and there. It might be with Devin Ray maybe squeezing himself into the wall right there a little bit, but now we're back to 4 wide racing, Josh. Just what we want to see.
Yeah, you love to see it. You gotta love to see it. And it's, of course, Logan York. I mean, I think he was the one. Oh,
there it is. Big one. Number 3 on the night, and this is everybody. This is everybody. Schneider, Falkingham. Both McCulloughs were still crashing. Vondell, Hastings, Corbett. I saw Carlbaum getting a piece of it as well. Galati with a piece of this. Melton, there he is. Reel. I think that was really about it in this one, but that was a pretty large crash. And I mean, I called it the second we went 4 wide. Yep. Kind of had to expect another caution was coming out. Sure enough, it did. Let's take a look at it. Not entirely sure where this started, so we're going to have to go up front.
Start in the front. Start in the very front.
Interesting. Okay, so
yeah.
I'll focus this. Oh, wow. Okay. Hunter Hastings gets hooked immediately out of the middle lane. Back this up and focus this on him once again, because that was kind of an immediate just right hook from what we just saw in the 44. Maybe a bad push from Josh McCullough to the back of the 44, and it's not really that. Josh McCullough's just riding a little bit high. Hastings taking a good line into the corner, and Josh McCullough just didn't realize it. Hooks him up into the third lane. Kyler Wynn. Hastings spinning And then it just continues with Kenny McCullough, Melton, Wagner, Devin Ray in the back getting spun out somehow, Logan York with another piece, Von Dell coming up getting spun. There's Osborne on the bottom. I think he might avoid this. Oh, he's not. He's going to get into Art Greco, but once again, not a lot of damage for either of those cars. Rick Schneider trying to work his way through as Kenny McCullough is coming back down the track, as is Mark Von Dell, and this is just going to continue. We got one on its side. It's James Wagner in the 30 riding up on the wall. Truck will sit back down on all four wheels. Wow, what a crash that was. Let's go back again. Let's focus it on James Wagner. See the ride he just took. There he is. Oh, he did a good job saving it. Then bam, Mark Von Dell just forced him right up into the wall. Probably going to end up being a fast repair used for the 30 of Wagner as well if he hasn't already used it. Let's see. I wish we could get a better camera angle of what really happened between Hastings and Josh McCullough. See if we can find one of those real quick. This might be a good one. So this is looking at the left front of Josh McCullough. Hastings going down, and Josh just kind of hooks him right there. I think that's really all there is to it. At least from my point of view, you can kind of see the, I don't know if it was a case of tunnel vision or what. I need to see really in the back how did Devin Ray and Evan Carlbon get involved in this? Let's back this up to Carlbon, because he was fine, just riding at the back, and all of a sudden it's spinning out. So let's see. Carlbon in the 78, where it says I am Chatban at the back, hitting the brakes, and then Chris Carter runs him over. Not a lot of damage, again, for Carlbon, if any. Maybe he's a little bit on that left rear. And then somehow Devin Ray gets spun as well when it looked like he was riding just fine. The purple and the yellow number 2 up top, hitting the brakes and gets arca braked by Michael Wingo. So that's tough. Lots of arca braking going on tonight. And I want to go on board with Wingo if we can. He's riding in the middle. The crash develops, and he's... I mean... Not even an attempt to slow down right there for the 01. And there's not another word but unfortunate to say about it, because if there's a crash in front of you, you want to avoid it, and when you don't, you take out people that are innocent in the process, like Devin Ray, who was doing a terrific job himself, just on the brake pedal, and as you should be if the crash happens in front of you, and to get run over like that, it's just unfortunate, not another word for it. But the field is back 2x2 with Brian Hennings the leader of the race now, with Ethan Eckert, who's had a good bit of luck here tonight, avoiding all the chaos going on around him. Nathan Harper's in third. How about Art Greco up here in fourth? The new name to the series. Going to be lead pusher to Eckert on this restart. James Waring behind him in fifth. Michael Barksdale up top. Sean Corbett seventh. Chris McCullough back up to eighth after his crash. Hunter Hastings in ninth. Looks like Kenny Reel will round out the top 10 here. See what's going on. I'm seeing this change a lot in the back of this. Not sure. Well, okay, leaderboard was changed around a lot on me right there, but looks like nothing too significant. So let's take a look. Here's Steve Sizemore still sitting in the pits. He needs to get going. It looks like he has a clean truck too, and Steve Sizemore's just there. Now he goes. Sizemore's going to be at risk of going a lap down here. James Wagner, it looks like he will be out of the race as well. He has left the session, so he had already used up his fast repair, and then riding the wall the way he did will be the end of the night for Wagner, unfortunately. But 31 laps to go. Or excuse me, we are on lap 31. As long as it's been, it kind of feels like there's 31 laps to go, but Hennings is going to be taking the green flag here with Eckert to his outside. Good launch on the bottom by Brian Hennings. Really good launch. Good enough that Nathan Harper was kind of caught sleeping behind him in the 7. He is well clear. Eckert's going to clear down and behind Brian Hennings, leaving Art Greco and Michael Barksdale up top. Now, Josh, see you're back once again, so we need to get
sorry about that.
Yeah, you're good. We need to get your take on what we saw in that last crash there as the RC. Once again, a lot of unfortunate things happening.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't very happy about that call, but Josh hooked him. I mean, that he was riding a little high. The guy in front of him riding a little low, and he kind of just came back up a little bit, and Josh just did not leave him any room, and hooked him, and then we probably had about 4 or 5 ARCA brakes there that I had to go look at. So it's just, I don't know what it is with ARCA braking with these guys, but they love it. They don't like hitting the brakes, which I feel that, I like that, but a lot of people, when it destroys somebody else's race, it's not too fun.
Yeah, definitely not. And maybe we'll finally get our rhythm going. We've had 3 cautions so far, not even halfway through the race yet. We're approaching it, but like to get a rhythm going here as the field is just kind of 2x2, a little bit of 3 wide here and there. Kenny Reel, Devin Ray trying to make a push up top. Nothing home for them, but it looks like Reel might have just backed out and Ray went to pick him up. I'm not entirely sure. That leaves Falkingham, who was involved in that crash. First time we've seen him anywhere but the front of the field here tonight. All the way in the back in 12th position right now. Kind of, I say the back, but towards the back of this main pack that we have right here. Hennings and Eckert is still just basically what we had on the restart. 2x2 racing. Basically the same guys at the front as well. Eckert not really getting a push from Greco that he needs. Then again, Greco might be a little hot on his temperatures. That allows Hennings in the 74 to hop up in front of Eckert. Harper and Waring on the bottom of the racetrack. There's Logan York. No surprise there. Taking it up to the 3rd lane. Kyler Wynn going to go up there with him. So will Kenny Reel, it looks like, on the top side. Those two get linked up. It's going to be a good push for them. Barksdale with a look up top as well. Look out for 4 wide here, and there it is. Wynn to the top. York with him. Reel kind of too far back to really make a difference right here. Look at Melton all the way to the 4th lane right there. Barksdale going to come back down into the middle. Oh, Wynn trying to split Melton as well. Goodness gracious. Melton tried to throw a little bit of a block on him, it looked like, and he said that's not happening. Wynn ended up in the wall, and that breaks their momentum. York's going to ditch out once again on that 4th lane. And you're able to kind of see, like, when you have drivers like Kyler Wynn leading a 4th line, or like Logan York or something, Michael Barksdale, he isn't exactly new to money racing, but he's kind of making a return as maybe a name that Wynn isn't familiar with. And when you're not familiar with that person, you can kind of see it coming when they're going to probably just split him out. And it's not because it's not anything against Michael Barksdale by any means. It's just they don't really trust him. They don't know what his abilities are yet. And if they don't know that, it could lead to issues or whatever. And it really, going to the 4th right there didn't work out because Chris Melton went up there, tried to lay some law down on Kyler Wynn and Logan York. But they're not done. They're pretty tenacious up there on that 3rd lane. Just the 2 of them trying to go for it again on the top. Ethan Eckert's the leader of the race with Art Greco leading the outside line. Pushes from Daniel Falkingham, who's worked his way all the way up to the 2nd position in the middle lane. Eckert now pretty clear of Greco. Him and Hennings might have a look at it. Eckert not wanting to go up just yet. Still just sitting where he's at with the push from Hennings. Maybe trying to allow Brian Hennings to go up in front of Art Greco so they can continue controlling these lanes as effectively as they have so far. The 82 and the 21 are still up top in the 3rd lane, but at this point, Logan York's got to be getting pretty warm, and sure enough, you see him kind of backing out, trying to grab some temperatures. That's usually a telltale sign that their run is dead, unless they get someone new to hop up in front of him, but York's just going to hop back down at the bottom, getting driven through by Chris Melton in the 52, and he leaves Kyler Wynn out this time. He might hop back in front of Wynn, and sure enough, that's what he's going to do. He hops up in front of Wynn to try and cycle these temperatures. Melton is allowed to get up as well. Kyler Wynn is probably not going to be too happy with Chris Melton. Might show a little of unappreciation, if that's even a word, with what Chris Melton did to him a couple laps ago. Now we're back to 3x3 all the way at the front. Eckert, Greco, and York leading the 3 lines. Great push up top. 3 trucks pushing deep all together. That's going to allow Logan York to be clear of the entire field. He'll take it to the middle lane for now. Might hop to the bottom, not just yet. He's going to stay in the middle, leaving Melton and Wynn to the outside. Here comes Josh McCullough and Michael Barksdale up for more assistance. Middle line's checking up significantly. A little bit of contact between Melton and York, maybe. Wynn still pushing Melton. Josh McCullough trying to push through Kyler Wynn to get Chris Melton clear. And he's clear, and he's going to take it in front of Logan York into turn number 3. We've got some pretty good racing going on right now, Josh. It's pretty clean. It's kind of effective what we're seeing. A lot of, not give and take, that's not the word, but a kind of a cycle of what we're seeing. Oh! Topside, a little bit of a weird push from Josh McCullough to Kyler Wynn. Luckily, they saved that. But anyway, pretty good race that we're watching out here right now.
Yeah, you know, if we could stay like this and keep it green, it would be some great racing. But you know, some people are getting squirrely. There goes the middle line car, just jumped to the outside there. Ethan moves up as well. Not sure what he had in mind there, but he was leading the outside line and just jumped up to the 3rd line that is currently dying with Kyler Wynn there. Not sure what his thought process was there. Don't know if it'll be a good move or if he'll drop back more.
Yeah, I guess who knows what that meant, but the purpose is nobody crashed out of it, so we're all good. It's still Melton and Wynn and Josh McCullough on the top, still fighting to try and maintain some track position, try and push up to the front, but they just don't really have the help right now. They're kind of holding good on their own where they are, but they need a little bit more assistance up there. Josh McCullough's trying to get back up there, but he's just kind of laying off. It looks like in the 4 machine in the back. And now he's going to get doored by Michael Barksdale in the back, and Devin Ray makes an abrupt move to the bottom. Falkingham's going to move up. Henning's down. Lots of moving parts right here. Not a good connection at all between Hennings and Harper just yet. That allows Eckert to get clear of Hennings as well with a push from Logan York. Now we're starting to kind of see the cream rise up to the top of this thing. Eckert and Hennings have stayed here, but now York's made his way up here. Kyler Wynn's on his way to the front of the field. Falkingham slowly working his way back up there. Harper is still maintaining where he is. And now we really see the 52 and the 82. Their run is just completely dying out right now. Maybe not. They've lost about 4 rows since the last lap. Now they have Josh McCullough going back up there again. Michael Barksdale with a door to Chris Melton again. 0-0 struggling with some handling right there, but he's got Hunter Hastings behind him. We saw Hunter Hastings take it up to the 3rd lane and lead this race earlier. He's probably going to try and get a look at doing that once more. Evan Carlbon still maintaining in this pack, but he's a lap down. He's fighting for the lucky dog against the 3 of Rick Schneider, that Mobil 1 Toyota Tundra on the bottom. About 5th in line on that bottom lane, so Carlbon's trying to get past him for that lucky dog position. But yeah, some interesting racing out here right now. It's kind of fun to watch. Lots, like we said, the moving parts that are going on. And now it's even moving around even more. York topside bails out on Eckert. Falkingham leading it. York, a very great move for Logan York. Is going to get pushed all the way to the lead. Not for long, because Melton connects with Falkingham now. Daniel Falkingham back to the lead, leading that middle lane. Ethan Eckert, he probably doesn't even know what just happened to him. That just happened so quick. He went from leading one of the lanes, now all of a sudden trapped in the middle in the Hornet's nest. Falkingham down in front of Hennings. York and Eckert going to be connected into turn number 3. Melton and Wynn, they have not given up whatsoever, and they have who else but Hunter Hastings in the 44, Melton's teammate, on the top side, trying to assist a little bit. They're going to come around and lap Michael Wingo. Hastings kind of backs out of it right there, and the field's starting to kind of single file itself back out. So, big single file all the way back. It's starting really around Rick Schneider. The rest of the field is bailing out, so that tells me we're approaching pit stops. Wynn bails on Chris Melton on the top side. He might be trying to let him in, I'm not sure. I don't know if he let him in or Melton just had just enough space to hop down in front of Kyler Wynn. But now the field's back 2x2, and we're definitely going to be approaching pit stops here. We're finally getting a little bit of a green flag run. That's very nice to see that. 3 cars clear on the bottom side of York, Falkingham, and Hennings, and it's just whittling down further and further all the way to that bottom lane, Josh.
Yeah, you know, it's looking pretty smooth here. Maybe we don't want to say nothing yet. Uh, you know, Kyler's sitting there trying to move up. He just jumped inside there, and he finally left. He finally left the 52 there. He stayed with them for a long time on that outside, trying to help him out. Not sure if they're teammates or what they're doing here, but it looks like he's just running with somebody at least. And then they're gonna be jumping inside. Looks like the 00 is gonna get clear. I don't know if he's gonna take it or not though. The cars up front still trying to get clear. I'm sure there's coming pit stops probably pretty soon. This is a pretty long race.
Yeah, we've got the pit stops rapidly approaching, and we shouldn't really be surprised to see that pit stop is going to really turn this race up on its head, because pit stops always do that. It's very, very rare that you have an entire field come in for a pit cycle and everyone still be in the pack as if they were still before it. Everyone was still there. There's always an issue. Someone is going to lose the pack. Someone's going to have a bad pit stop. There might be contact going in. Someone might still have tires checked when they shouldn't have, or not taking enough fuel. Who knows? But that's what's going to turn this race up on its head, and that's bad news for the likes of Rick Schneider and Evan Carlbon. Those two guys that are fighting for the Lucky Dog right now, they want to see a caution. They want to see it happen right now. They need this race to not go green. It's not just Schneider and Carlbon. It's also Chris Carter and Michael Wingo as well, fighting for that same Lucky Dog spot. They are all the first 4 cars a lap down. We're still not seeing pit stops. The field has whittled itself down completely, except for the 3 that are topside. What's odd is Logan York's still controlling lanes out here. So we would assume pit stops are approaching, but no, look in the back. Kyler Wynn and Rick Schneider, with a push from Kyler Wynn all the way back up to the front of this thing. When Kyler Wynn had dipped back down in the middle, or to the bottom lane, I should say, and now it finds itself back up top. Now we're back to 2x2. So who knows? Who knows what we're going to see right here? Schneider bails on Kyler Wynn. He's going to bail all the way out and go back to this thing, it looks like. But further back, I'm trying to see something really quick. Ron Hunter is the 16th car on the racetrack right now. There's 17, 18 in this pack, but 16th position. There was a little bit of a gap back to Chris Carter right there, but you see Joey Galati and the rest of these guys are going to catch back up as well. Kenny and Chris McCullough, two threats in this race, are kind of mired back in that single file stalemate at the back, but up front is still all York, Eckert, Harper, Hennings, Falkingham, and how about Art Greco? You know, like I said, he's a new name to the series, and here he is in the top 5 of this thing, holding his own really, really well. It's nice to see that a new presence come up here and do a terrific job so far in this one. Eckert now clear with a push from Harper down in front of Logan York, and the lane controlling's just continuing. Nobody wanting to bail off to pit road this time, so I really don't know what's going on right now, Josh, because we expect these pit stops at any point now, and every time the field looks like they're about to do it, they just start racing again. So it's definitely strange, and we'll see what kind of strategies are going to go on here.
Yeah, it's almost like they found a little water bottle full of fuel in their pocket there and just dumped it in and got a couple extra laps to go. I mean, they found some extra fuel somewhere to where they can just go 2x2 again. Maybe even 3x3. I mean, they got to be getting close to pit stops at this point. I mean, they're good. What are they, 20 laps in now at least?
Yep. That's definitely what the expectation is. Oh, yeah, one in the wall in the back. Ron Hunter again. He didn't spin out, and seemed to be the only truck involved. No real damage to the 9 of Hunter, so that's good news for him. But now we're racing 3 wide again at the front. Josh McCullough and Chris Carter making a push for it on the top. Trying to go around Kyler Wynn and Art Greco and everyone else that's been kind of dominating this race so far. Only 2 of them, though, no help home. Joey Galati is going to choose to stick in the middle. Kenny McCullough and Chris McCullough, those are 2 to watch out for. What are they going to do here? They're smart. They know there's going to be a pit stop soon. So you would think that they would stay in the middle, but maybe not. They took a little peek up to the third. The run just isn't there yet, and they're going to find themselves content in that middle lane. In the third lane is Josh McCullough and Chris Carter. Still, just the 2 of them. And they had a good push going, but now it's dying out. Chris Carter is not attached to the back bumper of Josh McCullough. Might be getting a little bit warm. So that line will be falling back. If you can call it a line, really just 2 cars up there. They need some more help up there if they want to make any more progress. Eckert, Harper, York, Greco, Falkingham, still the top 5. Seems like it's been this ever since we went back green flag racing. Brian Hennings has fallen back a little bit to the 8th position. Now look at those two again. Josh McCullough in the 4. Chris Carter in that number 9 up top. They're making a push, and they've got a run here. If Carter can maintain his temps, he might have a look at getting Josh McCullough clear. There he is. He will clear down with a damaged race truck, mind you.
Wow.
In front of Nathan Harper. What a job by Chris Carter to get Josh McCullough up there. Terrific bit of driving by them.
Pit stops are coming in here soon based off race chatter here.
There we go. So there's our cue. Nobody trying to come in this time. It's probably going to be the next lap here. Or maybe the next one. What tends to happen in these is someone's going to say, I need to pit this time, then someone is going to ask the question, who can go 2 more? Who can go 3 more? That's how it usually always goes. So we might see a little bit of a cycle here across a certain number of laps. We'll soon find out, but that field really whittled itself back down to just single file very rapidly. Josh McCullough, the ultimate track position play, getting pushed by Chris Carter all the way back to the front. But now his issue is he's trapped out there. If he needs to pit right now on this very lap, he's going to have to pit from that outside line, and that can lead to problems as we've seen numerous times in the past.
Yep.
Here we go.
There they go.
Looks like just about everybody coming in. Oh, Josh McCullough gets destroyed by Nathan Harper. Logan York with a head-on shot into the inside wall. Kyler Wynn, Chris McCullough contact as well. They keep it straight, but wow. I mean, just what Josh just said. Wow. There's some more contact going on in the back. Harper's damaged now. Josh McCullough's even more damaged, and Logan York is going to have to check that fast repair quickly and get back out there on the racetrack because he just took a crazy shot into that wall. If he even has a fast repair, which looks like he does. We see him in the back. That Bobble League truck is going to continue on in this race. That's good news for York. Harper, with a caved-in nose still, did not take a fast repair, as you can see in the 7 machine right here. So, wow, lots going on. Oh, Chris McCullough going to get shoved up by Brian Hennings above the yellow line. They're going to sort that out. It's good for them. That was the entire field that pit, basically, right here. Except for Chris Carter, it appears. Stayed out on the racetrack. Eckert, Falkingham, McCullough, Harper, and McCullough. 2 McCulloughs up here in the top 5. This is Josh and Chris. Returning back to the racetrack. About a 5, maybe 6 car breakaway here. Hennings trying to hang on with this group. Kyler Wynn and Logan York together now, shoving back up to the front. There's York. He had to very quickly check that fast repair and get back out because his truck was killed. I think Josh McCullough most likely did the same thing. Yeah, he definitely did. Brand new race truck for him. Yeah, maybe not. I'm not sure. No,
it's looking like they both didn't take anything. Josh just said he's still got 2 minutes, 30 seconds of damage there.
I believe that because we can still visibly see the damage on Josh, but I doubt Logan York didn't just take one right there because this truck took a head-on shot into the wall. And he now looks like he's in a brand new truck. I'm not sure. We'll find out post-race. Now we've got everyone doubling back up. I'm not sure that's a very wise decision. You've got this other pack back here of Hastings, Galati, Kenny McCullough, Evan Carlbon, and that 5th car is going to be Devin Ray. So this pack, if they can get organized and they can maximize their pace, push really well back up to this thing, they're going to have a shot at catching back up, which honestly they already are. They're only about 1.1 seconds back. This group will catch, I believe. It's just rapidly. Yeah, sure enough. They're in their draft now. So even when these guys just went 2 by 2 and now they're back single file, they shuffled out Josh McCullough. His damaged vehicle right there is trying to continue, but he's just not going to be able to hold on to that draft with 2 minutes and 30 seconds of damage. That's pretty significant. Here comes Hastings, Galati, McCullough, Carbon, and Ray. They're going to take Josh topside and go around him. Maybe Josh will stick on to that pack. We'll find out, but they need to get back down quickly. They will catch up to this pack. They're coming around now to lap Kenny Reel. I'm not sure if he had a pitting penalty, something happened on that pit stop for the 3 of Kenny Reel. He will go a lap down. So based off what we are seeing at the front of this now, there's 7 cars that were in that main pack that had broke away from everybody. Hastings and Galati McCullough, and Ray have caught back up to this of the lead lap cars. Carlbahn is in there as well. He is now the first car lap down. So we've got a about 12 car breakaway here. Maybe 13, considering Kenny Reel is now up in the thick of things as well. So Josh McCullough, unfortunately, not able to stick to the back of this pack. And there's another pack back here. This is Sean Corbett, Chris Melton, James Waring, and the 3 of Rex Schneider. That is in this third little pack. Behind them is Art Greco by himself. Tough break for Greco. Someone we've seen running up front the entire race. He's going to need a caution to come out. Followed by Barksdale, who's by himself as well. Vondell by himself. And then the lap down cars begin with Kenny Reel and Everett Carlbahn. Devin Ray and Kenny Reel take it to the top, trying to get around Evan Carlbahn for that lucky dog position. And they're moving up to the front. I guess they see everyone's single file. They say might as well go up top. Nobody's going to contest it. And they're driving to the front of this thing. Look at the run they have, just 2 cars. Hennings wants to go up there and contest it with him. He's going to hop up behind Reel. No help behind him. He needs to suck up to the back of the 3 soon. Galati making a push up to that outside line as well. So 20 laps to go here, Josh, and I'm not really sure what to expect going into this, towards the end of this, because there's some damaged cars up here, like Harper still has a caved-in nose, so if he gets to the front leading a line, he's going to parachute that line, considering just how perfectly caved in his nose is. That will be awful for aerodynamics, so he needs to be a pusher. He needs to push Daniel Falkingham, and that's basically what his role is going to be reduced to the end of this race. Devin Ray to the lead. Oh, Kenny Reel, bad tunnel vision. He crashes himself. Kenny Reel
Only one.
Saw Devin Ray go down and went into Daniel Falkingham and then spun himself. It appeared back up the racetrack. That's probably going to be the end of the night for the 3 of Kenny Reel. But he was able to push his teammate Devin Ray up to the lead. Falkingham behind him, Harper, and now there's only 2 cars left on that outside line after that. What we just saw right there of Hennings and Galati. Michael Wingo going to be put another lap down. So, most of this pack is being conservative here, Josh. Except for Brian Hennings and Joey Galati. They want to go to the front. They're going to the front, too. Ethan Eckert's coming into pit. Oh, we had another pit stop. That's what it was. Everyone coming in except for a couple of them. Falkingham, Harper, Chris McCullough, Wynn, Eckert, Kenny McCullough, York, Carlbahn, and Hastings. All come in to pit, to short pit this. So we had a little bit of strategy going on here. That's always fun to watch. That left out Ray, Hennings, and Galati. There's Hennings pushing Devin Ray. Galati trying to catch up with them. And here's the second pack of Corbett, Melton, Waring, and Schneider. So let's take a look at these guys coming out of the pits. There's Falkingham with Nathan Harper. Looks like it's going to be Eckert behind him. Bad pit stop for Eckert. York and Wynn connected again. These guys are all going to be fine here. They're going to be able to catch up just fine. Kenny McCullough, Chris McCullough as well. Hunter Hastings with a bad pit stop. It appears Evan Carlbahn might need a little bit of help here too. He's still the first car lap down and will be when everything cycles out. But he's definitely going to need some help here. Here's Devin Ray and Brian Hennings coming in to make their pit stops, leaving out Joey Galati. There he is, the current leader of the race. Ray and Hennings, here they come, into their boxes now. But what this will cycle out to be will be Falkingham, York. Well, excuse me, Eckert's made his way back to the lead of this thing while we were looking at Devin Ray and Brian Hennings. Eckert, York, Falkingham, Wynn, Harper, McCullough, and McCullough. Now this has turned into a 7-car break. I would assume they get around Ray and Hennings real quick. Yeah, they're going to easily get around Devin Ray here. Probably easily get around Hennings as well. Hennings might be in with a shot, I'm not sure, but they've definitely lost Devin Ray, and Brian Hennings, it looks like, will be lost as well. Falkingham to the top. He wants to make track position. Wynn doesn't go with him, and it looks like nobody's going to go with him. Harper's going to stay in line, who it looks like he now has... He checked his fast repair right there. His nose looks fine now. Look at that. That's great for Harper. Now he can actually lead the race. Falkingham tried to go outside. Nobody went with him whatsoever. So he gets sent to the back. And now it is a race for 7 cars. I will point out, Ethan Eckert, there he is in the 12, is currently not the leader of the race. The leader of the race is this man, Joey Galati, with help from Michael Wingo and Mark Vondell. He is getting caught by this group, Corbett, Melton, and Waring. This group's more organized than what Galati has with him. And I say that, but the gap is now kind of stabilized with 16 laps to go. Joey Galati's trying to make a little bit of a strategy play here. He saw everyone else pit, and now he's picked up the help of lap cars. That's great news for him. If he was stuck out there by himself, he would be slow and he would be caught almost immediately. He now has the help of Wingo. Then this will maintain his lead even further and his speed. So that second group, the group of the leaders prior to this last pit stop, won't be able to catch him as easily. They are catching him. You can clearly see it in the leaderboard of Eckert just reeling in Galati. But it's buying Galati a little bit of time here. If a yellow comes out or he still has some more fuel than anybody else and he can just continue going, this could work out really well for Joey Galati. I really don't know. I would say, like, if a caution comes out, well, that wouldn't work good for him. If he somehow has enough fuel to continue in this race, I mean, Joey Galati's going to be in. He would be the winner of the race if we don't have a caution and he somehow has enough fuel to continue on. And now Josh McCullough tries to block Galati and Wingo and Vondell. Not sure why he did that. Sends them up to the top, and that's going to hurt their run a little bit. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, Galati's looking good out here. If he can get some more, if he can pick up a couple more lap cars here, I think he's going to be looking pretty good, unless a yellow comes out. If he's got enough, I think in his play here is to let these lap cars lead and him just save fuel. I mean, if he can save enough, he's got that field by a lot.
That's true, but I struggle to believe that he's going to be entirely good on fuel. Just because of assuming that he pit with everybody else. And now he's getting passed. And this could work out for Galati. If these lap down cars clear down in front of him, like you said, it's going to help him save more fuel. And sure enough, Wingo does that, but they need to connect and get back organized to where Galati can actually take advantage of saving that fuel. But as this is happening, the group of Corbett, Melton, and Waring are approaching. Their gap was 4.5 seconds. It's down to 3 with this main group racing themselves. And they have a fourth car as well with Rick Schneider. So there's 4 cars in this group, 4 up here. But this group is racing each other. And that line of Corbett and Melton, they are flying. There you got it almost down to 2.5 seconds. But now it's starting to stabilize. Mark Vondell and Josh McCullough, the pushers. Joey Galati is now at the back of this pack. But like we said, if he can save fuel here, that's terrific news. And if he can make it, like we said, Joey Galati is going to win this race. That's a guarantee. If he has fuel and there's not a caution, he's going to be the winner of tonight's race. Melton, Corbett, and Waring have all come in to take their pit stops right here as well. So they ate out a lot of the gap to Galati, but they had to eventually come in and pit. So unfortunately, they weren't able to make it. That makes me wonder what Joey Galati's fuel situation is. If they just had to come in and pit, considering these guys you would assume all pit at the same time and took the same fuel, who knows? I really don't know. They're going to pick up another car here of Hunter Hastings. And that's even better news. If Hastings gets up to Galati's bumper, he will be able to help Galati save even more fuel because he's going to keep him tucked up to the back of Michael Wingo, so where that draft is going to help push him forward more than the power of his own car, obviously using more fuel and everything like that. I am fascinated to see how this turns out, because if Joey Galati wins this race, that would be a terrific underdog story, one of the best upsets I think we've seen probably in a long time in money racing. They're coming around Evan Carlbahn now, and this is going to put Carlbahn a second lap down to Joey Galati, as he is still the leader of the race right now, yet to make a pit stop. And I guess we're kind of just in a holding pattern here to see what Joey Galati's going to do. And he's going to the apron. I thought he was about to pit right there. Thankfully not. I know we're not supposed to show bias or anything, but if Joey Galati wins this race, I think that everyone would be a fan of that. That would be awesome. Yeah. And I think a lot of people out there, y'all are cheering for him right now. And I know I certainly am. And here comes help from Carlbahn and Hastings as well. But let's focus on the back of the pack, because this pack is now racing. So they're racing. Their expectation, obviously not staying single file, they expect Joey Galati to have to either come in and pit or run out of fuel.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the situations here, but there's no way Galati's got enough fuel to run. He needs 10 more laps.
I mean, he needs 10 laps. I don't know. I doubt it. I do highly doubt he has enough, but it's the question of what if he does? What if he does have enough fuel? And this pack, like we said, we'll focus this on them for now because these are the guys that are actually racing, and they're racing hard. Look at that. Eckert trying to block Kenny McCullough, and Kenny McCullough gets sent to the third. They might crash right here. They are dooring all over the place between Falkingham and two of the McCulloughs. They saved it. McCullough gets sent to the back with a block from Eckert, trying to control these lanes. Falkingham taking advantage of it. Ray and Hennings were able to catch back up to this pack. We got all caught up in what's going on with Joey Galati. We thought Hennings and Devin Ray's race was over. It's not. They are back up here in the thick of things. So they were able to catch Falkingham down to the bottom, trying to pass Ethan Eckert, trying to be the leader and controller of this race himself, and as of now he's going to be, as he's pushed well clear of Eckert. Harper is clear as well. But wow, what a race this has become. This is not what I was expecting this to turn into, Josh.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see if Yellow would have flown there, if what Galati's situation would have been looking like. I mean, he might have been looking even better than he was. And sorry about that. Some 4 wide there.
Yeah, 4 wide in the back, but now I'm looking at Galati's pack, and these guys are racing now. This isn't good for Galati. But, I don't know. They're racing now, but then again, this pack is racing. Obviously, Logan York just got shuffled out of line. And it's still a 16-second gap. I don't know. Chris McCullough is the leader of this pack, and should Galati not have the fuel, he would take over the lead of the race, battling Daniel Falkingham. Someone that has been in a crash already in this race now took his fast repair. Now he's back up to the front of this thing. Pushes from Kyler Wynn, who's back up here as well. There's also a couple lap cars in this mix. Barksdale, it might actually just be the 00 of Barksdale in this mix. Actually, Jeremy Osborne as well. There's Art Greco trying to hold on to this pack. And look how clear Chris McCullough and Kyler Wynn are, and Kyler Wynn's going to take that to the bottom on Chris McCullough. He should have cleared down when he had the chance. Unless he just wants that outside line, and he very well may. He trusts Brian Hennings more than Daniel Falkingham, maybe, who knows. But racing really, really hard in this pack. We'll take a look at Galati again. And this pack, like we said, this pack's racing too. Double file across the board. He's in a mess of lap cars right now. Carl Bond, Josh McCullough, Wingo, Hastings, Vondell, and Schneider. And I guess we'll just keep switching it back and forth because this is coming down to the wire. We got 6 laps to go. It's a 14-second gap to Joey Galati, the leader of the race. Kyler Wynn is in second. With pushes from Falkingham, get a little bit squirrely behind him. Eckert and York have been shuffled to the back of this. So is Nathan Harper. He finds himself now 5th on the outside line. There's a push from Brian Hennings to Chris McCullough. Going to clear him down in front of Kyler Wynn. Devin Ray and Hennings are now back together once again. They obviously work together really well, really efficiently to come back up to this pack, catch up to it, and now they're back together again. Might be a combination to watch out for. 5 laps to go at Talladega. 4 cars topside, 6 on the bottom. Barksdale kind of holding up that bottom lane, sitting up in the 00. He is now the first car lap down, so caution flies. He'll be back on the lead lap, back in contention of this. York wants to go up to the top, and he's going to do it. So now we got 5 on the top, 4 really on the bottom, and the pushes just aren't really being that effective to Hennings and Ray on the top side, or I should say Ray to Hennings. That allow Chris McCullough to go back up. Maybe Devin Ray was already hot, had to back off and get some temps. He's going to take it up to the 3rd. Nathan Harper and Logan York went up there, but he beat him to it. Now we're 3 by 3 by 3 at the front of this, what I guess I could say is second pack. And unfortunately, Joey Galati has pit. Joey Galati comes in for a pit stop, and the Cinderella story will not come to fruition here tonight. That is disappointing. But there he is taking his pit stop. I mean, what a run and great TV time for Joey Galati. He so very nearly had it, too. So disappointing. So now we focus it back on this pack. Hennings and Kenny McCullough's worked his way back to the front of this. Now he has his a cousin and Chris McCullough behind him. He's obviously going to trust him to give him some good pushes right here. Devin Ray got shuffled out. He's going to be heading to the back. So did Nathan Harper. York found his way back third in the outside line. 3 on the bottom, 6 on the top. The power in numbers theory is definitely helping out the top lane right now. Devin Ray's going to hop to the bottom. And now I'm just waiting for the 3 wide to start again, Josh. We've already seen it in this pack by itself. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect here.
I mean, they got 3 laps to go, and they're still pretty calm here. I'm surprised. I mean, really, if they can get a good, the problem is they all know. Oh, there it is.
Trying to wreck, and there it is. Hennings, Falkingham, only 2. Caution might not fly. The caution does fly. 2.
Caution flew.
That is 2 trucks involved, and the caution flag is out. And that was almost the complete bailout that Joey Galati needed, but unfortunately he's going to be a lap down.
A little bit too late there for him.
Just a little bit too late, but that's good news for Barksdale if he did not have any instant points in that crash. He will get his lap back. And who knows, Galati might still be in this because we still are going to have 3 attempts at cautions or overtimes. You know, we could have 3 more cautions. But here's Hennings. This started way before this, actually. There was just some movement, some kind of strange movement going on at the front. Oh yeah, we gotta go kind of way back. So, okay, let's back this up again. There's Chris McCullough on the bottom. Kenny McCullough goes up. Well, actually, Chris goes up first. Kenny then went up. Kyler tried to take advantage. It wasn't soon enough, and then just the stack up, it looks like, is what happened right here with Hennings and Falkingham. At least just what I'm seeing from this initial view. We'll back it up again. Because that kind of sent everything out of motion right here. Because Chris going up, Kenny in the 03, he's expecting to go to the second lane. Well, all of a sudden, Chris is now in the middle, and he can see that, so now he's stuck up on the third. But now Hennings and Falkingham, they don't know where to go. Because as soon as McCullough clears back down, they still are trying to sort themselves out. Falkingham tried to take advantage through the middle on Hennings, and it just wasn't enough. Brian Hennings working that wheel, trying to save his car. Falkingham, a hard hit with the right side to the outside wall, and spins out. Again, only 2 cars involved in this crash. Hennings spinning it back around. Hopefully still has a faster pair at his disposal. We assume Falkingham does. We haven't really seen him in a crash. He was in a crash earlier, but I guess we'll find out how it looks for Falkingham. Let's go on board with Falkingham and see what he saw from his view of this incident. We'll back this up all the way. So he's the lead pusher right here, and he sees all this going on. He's going to get forced to the third, and then, oh, there's an opportunity, but just not maybe enough of a hole to get into. I think Brian, he realized he was up to the third, but he also realized he had Falkingham behind him, probably expected him to try and make a move. And he didn't really give him that spot. So, I don't know, that's a tough call to make for Josh in the booth here. I definitely do not envy his situation whatsoever. But I guess we'll go ahead. Have you made a call on that?
Yep. So the root cause of all that was Christopher McCullough dooring Brian Hennings up, which allowed Daniel to get under his left rear there and kind of turn him. But that's just going to be the root cause of it all. I mean, that's what we look for now with all these new updates and everything. We're looking at the root causes due to checkups and stuff like that, and shotgun and net code and it all. And so what started all of it was the shuffle there.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's a good call. I think. I mean, it's if we're looking at the root cause of what happens, that's basically the only call that can really be made, because that's what initiated all the contact to begin with. But I don't know. It's a very fluid situation with how race control, like different RCs see different things, and it can be confusing a lot of the time. So that's why I think like the root cause idea and that theory is honestly, I think that's probably a good one because that's pretty clear on what causes something, even if it's someone that isn't even crashed. Like, I think it's a good thing. And Chris McCullough, it's unfortunate for him because he was up front having a great run. And you say that, but he's not out of it by any means. I'll take a look at him real quick. We also, I should say, we took a look at the 88 of Art Greco. We'll take a look at him again. Here he is, back on the lead lap. So Barksdale obviously had some contact, something involved in that crash. Did not receive the lucky dog. Instead, it's the 88 of Art Greco. And he's someone I think we got to watch out for. We've seen him. He was at the front of this race the entire time. Had a rough pit stop, and that sent him back here. Watch out for that 88 car. But we're going to take a look at Chris McCullough now. Here he is. In 15th position. As the field is on the one to go. He's not out of it. That's really no way to say it. I mean, the way the trucks race, especially these days, they're wild. They're insanely wild. We have the 4 wide, we have the 3 wide for laps. In PGR and SSK races, we're 4x4x4 for like laps on end, almost entire runs. By no means is anyone out of this. And I would say even the guys that are a lap down right now, they're not out of it. We still have more attempts at crashes, I should say, more overtimes. If they get their laps back, they're going to be right back in it, like Carlbon. Galati, we saw just lead a ton of laps on a good fuel strategy. It's going to be quite interesting to find out how this one turns out. The front of the field is Kyler Wynn and Kenny McCullough. Those are two guys, let's say they don't have the best relationship. They've kind of butted heads in the past, still do to this day.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, it's an understatement. But they're up here leading this race. Something else I will say. A lot of these guys short pitted. The only guy that didn't short pit this, really, outside of Ray and Hennings, they went one lap later than everyone else, was Joey Galati. Joey Galati's obviously on like the best fuel of anybody right now. But these guys short pit. Fuel could become an equation in this. We're going to find out if it does. 4 cautions down, 3 laps to go. We're coming to 2 this time. For Kenny McCullough on the bottom, with a push from Devin Ray, Logan York and Kyler Wynn linked up on the outside. And I'm sorry for that hesitation. I swear I just heard an engine blow out on somebody, but apparently not, so that's good news. Kyler Wynn getting a way better push on the outside line from Logan York. Devin Ray now connecting to Kenny McCullough, but Ethan Eckert in the 12 is driving through Logan York. Daniel Falkingham's driving through Nathan Harper as well. He's trying to go places, kind of lagging back where he is. Wynn to the bottom, leaving York the outside line for now. Who's going to split it 3 wide? Who's going to make it 3, maybe even 4 wide by the end of this? There's Chris Melton finding his way back in the thick of things. So is Sean Corbett back up here. Josh McCullough. These guys have had wild races so far. Definitely roller coasters. They find themselves right here in the thick of everything. Wynn and York still controlling this. No 3 wide yet. Eckert pushing York. Doing a pretty good job keeping him even with Kyler Wynn right now. Oh, he's getting hooked. Kenny McCullough's hooking Kyler Wynn. He saves it. That's should make it easy for Logan York on the white flag to turn down in front of Kyler Wynn. Maybe not. He's just barely going to be clear of Kyler Wynn into turn 1. And out of 2, Wynn's going to have the run. Still no 3 wide yet. And I'm kind of shocked by this. It's going to happen probably in turn 4. We got one on the wall in the back. It's Rick Schneider. The field's still just 2 by 2 rocking along. Brian Hennings and Chris Melton, they're losing the draft back there. They're heading into turn 3, and we're going to decide it here between probably this group of guys right here. Kyler Wynn with the edge over Logan York. Kenny McCullough might try and hop up. What will he do here? If he is clear, there he goes. Kyler blocks, and he turns him, and that's honestly expected, and he takes everyone with him. That's going to leave it for Devin Ray, Logan York, and Joshua McCullough to come through and win. Logan York wins the race, and I think, honestly, Josh, I hate to be so blunt, but I think we saw this a mile away. I saw that coming a mile away.
Happen. Come on.
And who knows what Kenny McCullough is going to be saying right now, but that's disappointing. It's expected. There's nothing else you can say. That's exactly what we expected. It looked like Kenny just wasn't even he wasn't having it. Maybe he just kind of turned him. But let's see. Coming to the white flag.
There's going to be some words.
Oh, there's definitely. I'm sure there are already words going on. But let's back it up. Yeah, that was a crazy crash. So many cars involved.
Ethan flying through the air. Jesus.
Well, let's see. So McCullough, he's there. He's easily there, and then Kyler Wynn just chops him off. Sends Kenny into the wall. Kyler, even on 210, couldn't save that one, or 140, whatever it is he's running these days, and tries to save it. He spins back down into the field, right into Ethan Eckert. Sean Corbett, who was in a great position, going to get a piece of it. Ethan Eckert, Harper trying to save it. Harper noses it into Falkingham. He's going to spin out Falkingham. As Eckert's still saying it, Falkingham right into Hennings. What a hit for them. And then, bam, Chris Melton into Ethan Eckert. Hennings up and over. Ethan's going to maybe go up and over here.
Oh,
oh yeah, he does. There it is. Over. Oh, yeah, Michael Wingo. He is flying through the air. Look at Ethan Eckert. The ride he just took. Wow, was spinning like a top.
Yeah.
Wild turn of events there. I want to get another angle of this and have it focus on Ethan.
Choice words here for Kyler in this.
Yeah, I'd be thrilled if we could interview Kenny McCullough at the end of this to get his take on what just happened. There's Ethan Eckert flying through the air. Crazy crash at the end of this. But Logan York comes home tonight's winner. So congratulations to him. I think what we should do actually before this, let's take this to the checkered and take this to the photo finish cam because it was a very close finish between Logan York and Devin Ray. Like, I'll try to stop it.
Yeah.
Here they come. Nope, maybe not. Go ahead, Josh.
You know, I can feel a suspension coming after that one. There's talk already about it in this race chat here. Something's gonna happen after that one.
Yeah, I believe it, and I do want to get a word with Kenny McCullough after that because I'm sure that's gonna be quite the interview with Kenny McCullough. But let's go through your final results here very quickly and go through the field. So, Logan York, as we mentioned, tonight's winner, Devin Ray, a good comeback for him, up in second. Great run for Devin for the Jack Shack. Josh McCullough in third. James Waring in fourth. Great finish for James Waring as well. How about that? His teammate Freddie Bazinez getting wrecked out early, and now James finishes fourth. Great run for him. Sean Corbett, after it looked like his race was over, finds his way back up to fifth. Ethan Eckert on his roof across the line finishes sixth. Hunter Hastings back up to seventh. Chris Melton in eighth. Kenny McCullough looked like he was going to win it out of turn four, and he got Kyler Wynn and ends up ninth. Art Greco, that's someone I want to give a shout out to him. I've seen him before. He's not new exactly to money racing, but we haven't seen him in a long time, and here he is. A great run. He probably deserved a better finish out of it, but to get a top 10, great run for Art. And that number 88 machine in 10th. Brian Hennings back in 11th. Kyler Wynn 12th. Christopher McCullough 13th. Nathan Harper 14th. Joey Galati thought he was going to win the race. Just not enough laps of fuel. It's unfortunate for him. Ends up 15th. Evan Carlbon 16th. Mark Von Dell 17th. Rick Schneider in the 18th position. Tonight, 19th place will be Michael Barksdale. Daniel Falkingham in 20th. Michael Wingo 21st. Christopher Carter 22nd. Jeremy Osborne 23rd. Kenny Reel 24th. Ron Hunter 25th. Steve Sizemore 26th. James Wagner 27th. Scott McLean in 28th. I believe, there we go. Freddie Bazinez, our last finisher here tonight in 29th position, 63 laps down. So, we'll take this back up to the top so you can see the top finishers, and we will be right back from Talladega as we go and grab your top three finishers. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to MMS Money Racing here at Talladega, race number 5 of the Little Dogs Big Dog Series. Unfortunately, we will not be able to grab a word with Devin Ray or Josh McCullough here tonight, but we're going to go ahead and get Logan York, and we're going to bring in a couple others as well. So let's bring up Logan York right now. Logan York! Landon and Josh in the booth, do you have a copy?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Well, another successful run for you here tonight, and honestly a very fun race to watch and enjoy. Lots of what we usually see, crashing at the start of the race, but then a strategic game towards the end, and lots was going on in a pack that really didn't consist of that many trucks. So walk us through your whole race. We saw you get wrecked early and were able to come back to win. Go ahead and walk us through it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really remember the beginning of the race that much. I wasn't really focusing on being up there. Scott got wrecked early, so I was on my own. Yeah, one of the pit stops, I think it might have been like the last pit stop. I hit the wall, had to take my fast repair, and then I came back out there and was still in the draft. Fortunately, I pit ahead. I pit pretty close to the lead, so I was able to spin, and then I entered the pits like seventh, so it wasn't that bad. And I came out, and then the caution came out, unfortunately, with Brian and everything, and then I was lead pusher on the top, and I don't know, didn't have as much help behind me, I guess. I don't know what happened there. And then got cleared, and Collar tried to block the outside lane, wasn't clear. Wrecked Kenny, and then it was between me, Devin, and I saw Josh McCullough coming up, and I knew if I was able to block him, I'd keep the momentum and get the win, and fortunately it worked out for me.
Yeah, so what was your thought? Were you expecting what happened out of turn 4 right there? Because I can tell you, I know me and Josh were in the booth because we called it at the exact same time as it happened. When Kenny got clear and he went up to try and go around Kyler, and Kyler threw the bad block, and it happened again.
Yeah, I knew as soon as Kenny tried to pass him that something would happen. Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing at the end of the day that you were able to take advantage of it and come through another win for you in this series. Go ahead and give out your thanks and your shout-outs.
Appreciate it. It's nice to actually win instead of having one as an asterisk. So
well, that's good.
It was actually, this is like the third. What is this? The third time that I won a race because of something that Kyler did?
Yeah,
I think so.
Maybe it's probably more than 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had those. What's it called? Yeah, but yeah, I just want to thank my teammate Scott McLean for showing up, putting on a good effort. Unfortunately, he got wrecked. Thank you guys for broadcasting. I want to thank everyone that shows up to these races and provides pretty clean competition most of the time. Some of the people. I want to thank everyone that watches the broadcasts. I want to thank Nicolas for putting these races on, and that's it.
Well, there we go. That is Logan York, tonight's winner of race number 5. Congrats again. Thanks for talking to us.
Appreciate it.
Well, there we go. And like I said, we're not going to get a word with Devin Ray or Josh McCullough, unfortunately. It seems like they're both having some technical issues. So we're going to instead bring up 2 guys, and the first of which is going to be James Waring in 4th place. Let's see if we can bring him up real quick. James Waring, Landon and Josh in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
We can hear you now. You have a copy, James? There we go. Okay, you had quite a race here tonight. You got wrecked a couple times. You did a good job avoiding a couple of them. You come home in 4th place. Walk us through your race.
That was wild. I cannot be happier with my results. I was up front or up in the top 10 most of the race when I got up there and was able to stay there, stay with the leaders. Been working hard on my racecraft and finally paid off a little bit tonight.
Yeah, and I will make a kind of point as well. You lost your teammate in this series, at least Freddie Bazinez, very early on in this. And you were able to come through, as much as y'all are already locked in and everything with his win a couple weeks ago. How does it feel for you to come through and get a solid result here tonight? There's been some struggles early in the season, but now you came home, you persevered through all the crashes and the strategies and everything to come home in 4th. Just how does it feel for your momentum going forward in this season?
I feel like I'm finally gaining some momentum. Finally, it's starting to all click. Made a couple adjustments to my settings right prior to the race. I was like, can't get any worse. So tried it, and it worked out pretty well.
Well, there we go. That's a great result for you and your team. Go ahead and give out your thanks and your shout-outs.
I want to thank my partner Vince, too bad I couldn't be here tonight to see this. And thanks to all those that have helped me along in this process.
Well, there we go. That's James Waring, your 4th place finisher here tonight. Congrats on your finish. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, there we go. I guess I had it confused. I was 99% sure it's Freddie Basnes was his teammate, but it was his teammate Vince, so he didn't even have his teammate here tonight. They're not locked in, but a solid points result for him and his team. That's terrific news. Now, this will be the fun one, Josh. This will be the fun one.
Oh,
This is
gonna be good.
We're gonna get a word with Kenneth McCullough, and we would get one with Kyler Wynn too, but unfortunately he is not anywhere in the Discord, so we cannot do that. So let's see if we can get Kenny up here, and I'm sure this one's gonna be fun. Kenny McCullough, Landon, and Josh in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. I got.
Well, I don't even know where to begin with this one, honestly. I'll kind of say the same thing I said to Logan York. The instant that y'all came out of turn 4 and I noticed that you were clear and Josh noticed it too, we basically called it as it happened. When you went up, there was going to be a block from Kyler, and it ended up happening again. It's almost like deja vu with you and Kyler, almost the same move happening once again. Before we get into that, walk us through your race as a whole, and then get into that finish and what your thoughts were on that.
Well, it won't happen in the next race because he'll be setting that one out. It's getting very annoying to get wrecked by him on the last lap every race I'm in with him. It's just, I mean, I don't mind a block, but I was there. It's like, I mean, he waited too late. But, you know, what goes around comes around, I guess.
Well, there we go. That's the words from Kenny McCullough right there. And, but the beginning part of the race, before the last lap in turn number 4, the exit of turn 4, I should say, you had an interesting race yourself. There was, I believe, a couple wrecks involved in there. Were a few of them, and it seemed like everyone seemed to be involved in every crash that happened. So, through the first part, how did you navigate through the strategies and everything? Were you expecting in that last run, especially, for Harper, Eckert, and the rest of those guys to short pit it the way they did, and it turned into the strategy game that it ended up being?
Yeah, I was kind of glad they did. That's why I pitted with them when they came in. I felt like if we got some green flag pit stops, it would break the field up a little bit, and we'd get a pack of 10 or so there racing at the end, and that's what it wound up being there till we got a caution closer to the end. But the racing was pretty fun for the halfway to the rest of it there. But, man, I've been in this situation so many times, it's just getting very annoying to get spun at the end or getting crashed from a bad block.
Well, there he goes. That is the word from Kenny McCullough. It wasn't a terrific result for you tonight, but go ahead and give out your thanks and your shout-outs.
Yeah, thank you for doing the broadcast, man. Thank Giambrone for doing the headache work with the RC. I know it's a rough job sometimes. You got everybody bitching at you through the whole race, but yeah, thank all the drivers for showing up. Overall, it was a pretty good race.
There we go. That is the word from 9th place finisher tonight, Kenny McCullough. Looked like he had it won, but unfortunately some bad luck at the end. Thank you, for talking to us. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
And now I do have some news, Giambrone. I'm looking in the chat right now. And Kyler Wynn is requesting to be dragged for an interview.
I say we interview him.
So
maybe
we are
Delati
going
too. Let's get him.
Let's get significant post-race coverage here.
Yeah,
Let's drag him up very quickly and get his take on what just happened on the final corner. Trying to get him up here. There we go. Kyler Wynn, Landon, and Josh in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
So, we just talked to Kenny McCullough, and I guess I'll repeat this again, what I did already say to Kenny. We knew what was coming. You're a very aggressive driver, and you're going to make a block for the win. There's obviously nothing wrong with that at all. It was an aggressive block, and it ended up turning Kenny, and y'all have butted heads in the past. Ended up taking you and him out of the money. Walk us through what your thoughts were out of turn 4 on the last lap.
Take full responsibility for that. Honestly, I didn't think he would have that much momentum on me. I thought were roughly the same speed, but looking back at it, he timed the run perfectly on the outside lane, and it's just a bad block on my part. I shouldn't have done it. I mean, I don't think I was going to win the race if I stayed low, but either way, that was a dumb block. I was probably going to be a wreck. Like, I was probably always going to be a wreck. I take full responsibility and any consequences that come with that. But I hope I'm back for the championship. because it's not fair to Ron Hunter. You know, we're already locked into the championship race. I don't know what that's Kenny's discretion, I guess, what he decides to do with that. But yeah, I take full responsibility. Sorry to Kenny. Sorry to fuck. I don't know. I think I took Ethan out of the money. Something.
Yeah.
But other than that,
go on.
sorry.
No, you're good.
Other
Go
than
ahead.
that, it was a great race. I really enjoyed that. I wish it stayed green there at the end. That would have been a really interesting finish. But yeah, definitely mad at myself in that one.
Yeah, and that's but like we said, we know you. We know you. I know you very, very well on the racetrack.
We did call it.
And
we knew it was coming.
We did literally call it happening on the broadcast. But like you said, like, okay, it's a bad block, sure, that happens, right? And it's unfortunate that it did happen racing, but at the end of the day, it is aggressive racing to try and win a race. You know, like you said, you're already locked in and everything, but you want to stack the wins, and obviously this is money racing. You want to cash, and you want to maximize your profits when it comes into this. So, what I will say, my personal belief, I highly doubt that you would be banned for the championship and not brought back for that, and that I think a lot of people would disagree with that. But prior to this, let's try and talk about some good, I guess. It was a great race from your standpoint. You controlled the race with Ethan Eckert, Daniel Falkingham, a couple other guys the entire time. There was some Logan York, especially. You two seemed like locked at the hip together this entire race. So before all of that happened, how was your race up to that point?
The first half was pretty bad. I got wrecked 3 times. I think I accumulated 4 minutes of damage total. But every time I pulled down pit road, it said it was all repairable. So there's really no issue there. This thing's a tank, I guess. So I didn't have to use my fast repair once. Although I was involved in 3 wrecks, I could, brought it down pit road and fixed it. I'm glad we got some pit stops in. That was good. I love pit stops in these cars, or just any car for that matter. Add some variety to the race. I just wish it stayed green there at the end, man. So that didn't happen, but well.
Yeah, that was definitely going to turn into very interesting, and we already had interesting strategies. We talked about Joey Galati and everything staying out. Thought he had a shot at it, but unfortunately not for him. I know it wasn't a very good finish for you. You ended up in 12th place tonight, but go ahead and give out your thanks to your shout-outs.
Yeah, just factory setups on the truck and Ron Hunter. He got taken out in the first hack, I think, early on. But thank you for him being there. And once again, sorry to Kenny.
Well, there we go. That is the word from Kyler Wynn. We appreciate you talking to us. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
So there we go. That is the word from 2 very different sides of a last lap incident that we saw. And, let's be clear about this, is that we know how Kyler Wynn races. Is it dirty, per se? No. Is it extremely aggressive? Yes. And that's where the kind of line gets towed of when incidents like this happen and, we expect it to happen, right? We know that there's probably going to be a crash out of it, but it's because he races so aggressively. And, again, who knows, this is MMS Money Racing. That is McCullough Motorsports Money Racing, the captain of which is Kenny McCullough. And he's had so many issues with Kyler in the past. I guess we will wait and see what happens with Kyler Wynn. And he alluded to something that I didn't even think about. If he takes him out for the championship, I think everyone's in agreement that should not happen. He's competing in a championship. That's not fair to his teammate Ron Hunter, and all the work that they have put in these 5 races so far. And we still have a long season to go. So I don't know. We'll wait and see on that. Stay tuned to the MMS Money Racing Discord. The link is in the description if you want to join in and see what goes on in there. But overall, Josh, what are your thoughts on this race we had tonight? It was definitely something. It was interesting. It had a little bit of everything. A little bit of strategy, a little bit of crashing, a little bit of racing, a little bit of single file, and a little bit of controversy. Just a perfect money race.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting race here tonight. It was a good race. It was pretty good. It wasn't the cleanest, but that's racing nowadays. We haven't had too many clean races. It was cleaner than some of them, but not all of them here. And it was fun. It was interesting to watch, definitely with the end there with Galati's pit strategy. And man, I would have loved to see Galati win this whole thing. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of us were on the Joey Galati hype train right there, and just not enough fuel with 5 laps to go. It's only 5 more laps. We wish he would have stretched a little bit further. What a great underdog story that would have been. But at the end of the day, we have Logan York as our winner. Devin Ray with a great finish in second. Josh McCullough with a great comeback into third place with all his damage and getting left. And that caution towards the end really changed up a lot of stuff. But what a season I think we've had so far. Like last week at Atlanta was a thriller to watch. And once again, a little bit of controversy had that seasoning in there. That's basically every money race there is these days. But that's entertaining for y'all in the audience and everyone in the fan base of money racing and some of the drivers as well. We enjoy watching that and watching all that unfold. But we appreciate all of you tuning in and watching once again here on PGR eSports, the MMS Money Racing Little Dogs Big Dog season. And I'm pulling up the schedule right now, see where we are going to be at next week. We will be racing the next-gen cars at Daytona for 75 laps of Cup Series racing action in race number 6. And we have 13 races in the season, including the championship race. So that'll be the kind of the halfway mark, maybe the race after that, a little before the halfway mark in this season. I'm thrilled to watch how the rest of the season is going to go. It's been a ton of fun to be up here in the booth with Josh, you doing the job of RC and broadcast and everything. It's been fun to broadcast because there's always something going on, right? So
Yeah, always.
yes, we appreciate all of you tuning in and watching, as always, every week, every race on PGR eSports. Y'all are the ones that really make this happen. And, well, I guess we will see you next week when we tune in for the next iteration of the Little Dogs, Big Dogs season number, it's got to be about 4 or 5 at this point. It's going on before my time, so I'd have to get some clarification on that. But we appreciate you talking to us. Goodness gracious. And so much happened in this, I'm starting to lose my mind, Josh. But
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
We appreciate y'all tuning in. Tune in next week, next time for the next gens at Daytona. Tune in tomorrow night, actually. We will have a broadcast of a preseason event for the PGR Light Series, the return of that. The series is not returning for a little bit more time now, probably a month or two. But there's going to be a little preseason event for that tomorrow night that will be broadcasted on PGR eSports as well. So thanks again for tuning in, and tune in next week. We appreciate you watching. Good night.